Well, what's up, everybody? It took me a couple of days to get this video because I was just like, completely drained after that game. But I did pick us in the my prediction video, but there was a part of me that was like, I was buying into the hype that the media how they were putting over Rodgers, which obviously, that's pretty accurate. I know they were really hyping up Aaron Rodgers, but it's obvious why they did. And I've always thought he was amazing, uh, especially in the postseason, and it's possible that they might go to the Super Bowl now. But it. There's just so many. I mean, the penalty. It just like okay. The main thing is we're not disciplined because of the fucking penalties. I mean, you could say yeah, the refs were against us, but I mean, come on, Garrett does not know how to discipline this team, especially in the playoffs because he has a shit playoff record. We're not disciplined, and the play calling on offense, especially, was oh my god! I can't believe they made the same mistakes. They better get rid of Lanahan. But then again, I mean, Garrett's still the head coach, so I don't know if that's going to change anything. But I mean, like on what was it, the first drive? It was 3rd and 2, and they're still passing it. 2nd and short, they're still passing. It's like, oh my god, you guys have fucking Ezekiel Elliott, the best rookie running back we've had, and probably since Emmitt Smith, and you're going to continue to pass the ball on 2nd and short, 3rd and short, when you have like Ezekiel Elliott, averaging 7 yards per carry? I mean, even if he was averaging 2, 3, 4 yards a carry, that's good enough to get over in 2nd and short, 3rd and short. I mean, good lord, you guys are making the same mistakes you made 10 fucking years ago. And in 2009, 2014, you always have to throw. They do the same thing in the red zone. It's just it's unbelievable. So that's a large part of it. And then I've always said that this team is very similar to the 1991 Dallas Cowboys. Of course, we don't have Jimmy Johnson, but very similar to the 91 team, at least in terms of we're a young up and coming team. But we have a couple of missing pieces on defense. And that's the thing. That's what the 91 Cowboys were. They were able to beat the eventual Super Bowl champion Washington Redskins in RFK. People are like, whoa. And that was like the first glimpse that, wow, this team's got something. And we did that this year when we beat the Steelers, when we beat the Packers in the regular season. But we weren't able to beat the Giants twice. We lost to them twice. And that was the first warning sign, was that we lost to the Giants twice. And again, we have missing pieces on defense. In the 90s, it was Charles Haley. And then, of course, we got, in the 92 draft, we got Darren Woodson and Kevin Smith, who really upgraded our secondary big time. Kevin Smith, extremely underrated. Darren Woodson, best safety in Cowboys history. All-time tackler for the Cowboys as well. So that was big. So that's what we need this year. And I know, it might be too early for draft time. I mean, our season's over, so we can talk about whatever fuck we want. So that's what was missing is we have a lot of... Offense is fine. The only thing I want to change on offense is get rid of Doug Free because he's old and he's like Flozell Adams. He'll get, fucking holding calls and false start calls. So we need to get rid of his ass and get a new guard. Probably not in free agency, probably like in the 2nd round. And then the rest will be defense. So that's it. I think that's the main thing, is that we have some very crucial missing links in the defense. And offense, aside from Doug Free, is fine. We have all the weapons in the world. So offense, I'm not really concerned about. Defense is where I'm concerned about. And so this past year of 2016, we addressed our future in the offense. The future, Zeke and Dak. This year, we're gonna finish the pieces of the puzzle on defense. And we'll have Jalen Smith back, so we'll see what he can do. But aside from him, we need to. I don't know if we're going to trade Romo or what's going to happen with Romo. So I don't even have any clue. But if we do, maybe we can trade for a 1st-round pick, or that's pretty much what we would be trading him for. Would be a high 1st-round pick to, I don't know, whoever wants Romo. I don't know if it'd be the Broncos, the Jaguars, the Jets. The Bills. I don't know about the Bills, but I don't know any of those teams. The Dolphins. I don't know. Those would be the main teams I would think that would want him. trade him for a first round pick, and then the first round pick is get defense. Now I would say pass rusher as far as position wise on the defense. Pass rusher, either defensive end, defensive tackle, preferably defensive end because fucking Randy Gregory is, he's all fucked up. So, and he's suspended for the whole year of 2017. So that's that's why we need a new pass rusher. So we need to draft a new pass rusher, a defensive end, and hopefully he's not an idiot that's going to fuck up the substance. I mean, I'm not against smoking pot, but I mean, if the NFL prohibits it still, then you gotta not do it. So, or any other thing domestically or drunk driving. So let's make. Hopefully he's not a dumbass that does stupid shit. We got to find a good, solid defensive end that can get in there and play right now. And also maybe get a nose tackle. And then work on the secondary, because I want to get rid of fucking Brandon Carr. Get rid of fucking Brandon Carr, and get work on the secondary with DBs, all DBs, both corners and safeties. I like what I'm seeing from Byron Jones and Anthony Brown, but we need somebody in there that can replace fucking Brandon Carr. And then also work on the linebacking, all of it, linebacking core, secondary, and then the first priority is pass rushers, defensive line. And we also see if we can get anybody through free agency on defense. Again, pass rushers, defensive line, linebackers, secondary. All that we can work out in free agency and in the draft. And I think we'll be okay. I'm still optimistic. I'm not like naysaying. I'm disappointed and pissed off about the same shitty fucking play calling, coaching mistakes that we've made. Once again, Garrett is the champion of shitty play calling. I mean, we should have just milked the clock. Why the fuck did they spike the ball? Like, you guys have a timeout. You don't need to spike the ball. I mean, I think Dak Prescott, he's a rookie, but I think next time he's gonna, instead of spiking the ball, just do either a fake spike or he should have thrown a play. We had an extra timeout. I mean, and then you milk the clock, and then when it gets to 2 seconds, call a timeout, that final timeout, and then you kick the field goal and go into overtime. That's what I do on Madden. That's what any fucking little 12-year-old does it on Madden. And most people, I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't take rocket science. So, it's just the same mistakes, same poor play calling, bad clock management, all that, bad discipline, everything. But I'm still optimistic because of, I will be optimistic if we address those needs on the defense. And then offensively, all we need to do is get rid of Doug Free. But yeah, free agency and the draft, work on the defense. I mean, we basically have to be like the fucking 1994 San Francisco 49ers. They had all the weapons on offense: Jerry Rice, Steve Young, Brent Jones, Ricky Waters, and their offensive line, Jesse Sapulo, Harris Barton, all those guys. They had a shitty defense, and that's why we beat them, because they didn't have shit. Their defense was aging with Kevin Fagan and Michael Carter. Those guys were fucking old. And the only decent players they had was like Merton Hanks and guy on NFL Network, Eric Davis and Tim McDonald. They had a pretty good secondary, but they had fucking nobody on their front seven. And that's why they went over the salary cap and they just went shopping like crazy and in order for the 49ers to beat us in 94, they had to sign a bunch of guys on other teams, non-49ers, turn them into 49ers by signing them in the free agency. And that's how they were able to beat us, because they went batshit crazy in the free agency, like Ricky Jackson, Deion Sanders especially, Ken Norton Jr. especially, Richard Dent, Charles Mann, several other guys, all defense. I mean, I don't think they added anybody. I think the only guy on offense they got that year was Bart Oakes, center from New York Giants. That was really the only offensive guy in free agency they got. Everything else was just a huge overhaul on defense. And that's what we need, is an overhaul on defense through free agency and through the draft. That is what's going to put us over. It'll put us over. We'll be able to beat the Giants, hopefully at least once next year, as long as we have a fucking pass rush that can get Eli's ass, and a secondary that doesn't get gassed for yardage by either Eli or fucking Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady if we play them next year, or whoever the fuck. Everything, top to bottom. Pass rush, number one. secondary number 2, and then also throw in some linebackers. Yes, we'll get Jalen Smith back. I don't know how good he'll be, so we need to get some more linebacker depth. And, maybe special teams as well, because we were kind of so-so on special teams. We did okay making sure nobody made a punt return, so we were good defensively, but offensively, Lucky Whitehead's not bad, but, we just never really had any big touchdowns on special teams, except for, the preseason against the Rams. That was about it. So, that's all we need to do. Just let's focus on what we need defensively, especially rebuild. And again, maybe, it's the 25th anniversary. It's really, history repeats itself like on a 25-year cycle. I'll give you an example. 1991, Guns N' Roses went on tour, and on their pre-show, Axl Rose broke his ankle. 25 years later, Guns N' Roses has their big reunion tour. One of their pre-shows, their warm-up gigs in LA, Axl Rose breaks his, I don't know if it was his ankle this time, I think it was his ankle or foot, but he broke something, either his ankle or foot. 25 years later, so the first couple of shows, he's in a cast sitting in a throne. So this history repeats itself, and I think the Cowboys, it really feels like the 90s again. 90s retro is very big right now. Us millennials, we're in our 20s, some of us approaching 30, reminiscing about the 90s is 90s retro is very in right now. And, music, old school hip hop, NWA, that whole era, grunge music, heavy metal music is really, that whole retro thing. Kind of like how about 5-10 years ago, the 80s retro was big. So now it's 90s retro. So hopefully that means 90s retro for the Cowboys, and hopefully my Chicago Bulls too, who are very disappointing. So that's another thing. The Bulls are even more depressing than the Cowboys. At least the Cowboys are doing great. They have young stars, just like they did in 91 and 92. We just need to upgrade. We need to upgrade and fill in the missing puzzle pieces on defense, just like we did in the 90s with Charles Haley and Darren Woodson and Kevin Smith and those guys. So that's it. So we'll see what happens. I hope that 2017 will be the new 1992, and we have an upgraded defense ready to go kick some ass. And we'll see if we can go 13-3 again, or 12-4, or whatever. And it's going to be a rough schedule because we're going to have to play all of the division champions that won. We're going to play all the first place guys. And AFC, I'm not sure who we're playing this year. Maybe AFC West, I think. If not AFC South. It's not AFC North because we just played them. So it's one of those. I'm not sure. I'll have to look. We'll have to wait and see later in the spring when the schedules come out. But that's the thing. So I'm still optimistic. We have a young, amazing team. They're just rookies. They can learn from their mistakes. They're going to be awesome here in the next couple of years, starting next year, for sure, as long as they stay healthy. And all we got to do is just find those missing puzzle pieces for the defense, have a complete team from top to bottom. Boom. We're gonna have a run next year for sure. I know it. I just hope and pray that we have this 1992 flashback. And, we already have our new triplets with Dak, Dez, and Zeke. We need our Charles Haley on defense, damn it. We need that extra iron fist to get in there and get motherfuckers like Eli and Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady, any of those Drew Brees, all of the high profile quarterbacks. We need that iron fist on that end to just, and also improve our secondary. All of it. So, again, I think we'll be alright. It's frustrating. But we'll see what happens. So I guess I won't do another video until maybe the Super Bowl. I mean, I really don't give a fuck because the Cowboys aren't in it. So, I probably won't do another video until maybe, the draft, I guess. I might do other, other type of videos on here, but not Cowboy related, like maybe talking about movie reviews or something like that, but not politics, because, I've had enough of that. 2016. I don't give a fuck about that shit. But I don't know. Maybe we'll go into, because I'm a big film buff. Maybe I'll go into some movie talk and we do some top 10 favorite horror films or something like that. But other than that, no, I'm not. I won't be doing any Cowboy related stuff until something happens in free agency, or there's a trade with Romo, or the draft, or something like that. So yeah. So anyway, so that's all for now. So it was a great season. I know we'll do better next year, so let's keep up the fight. Go Cowboys. Cowboys always. Cowboys Nation. Win, lose, or tie. We